No.
We're going to start at quarter to 10, but you can start at 20 to 10 there.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the weather is a little bit inclement, as you have seen. So we're going to just delay things for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll be back up here then to give you some introductory remarks about safety and procedures and the like. So we're going to have just a small delay, just to make sure everybody gets in here comfortably and all that, you know. So 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll be back to you then, okay? Now, dear Gwitter Madden, good morning. A gwyn úsle tish mahori a kémini agus a corda. Tá fáilte róh galéir godí an ócáid specialty show in Institute Corky. And you're all very welcome to this graduation here today at the Cork Institute of Technology. My name is Noel Barry and I am the chair of the Conferring Committee. It is my task to give you information about the conferring ceremony and procedures. The ceremony today is available on a link from the main CIT webpage, www.cit.ie/live. So text that now on to your family and friends or anyone who wishes you to see the conferrings live before putting your phone on silent or switching it off. So feel very free to do that. www.cit.ie/live. Now I have some safety matters and stuff like that to go through. In the interest of your safety, please be aware of the nearest exits to you in each corner of the auditorium. And there I'm pointing them out. There are no evacuation drills scheduled for today. However, in the unlikely event of the fire alarm operating, an announcement will be made from the podium. And if an evacuation is called, please walk quickly and without pushing or impeding others to the nearest exits, which I again point out to. These exits are clearly posted A, B, C, and D. And I believe the names are written up in various places, but I'm pointing to them there again just in case. Do not attempt to re-enter the building until advised to do so by the safety response team. Please keep aisles and passageways clear of belongings during the conferring. Also, if anyone needs assistance during the conferring, please let a steward know and we will endeavour to assist and especially graduates who are receiving their parchment here today from the President. If you need any assistance getting up the ramp or you don't even think you can make it up the ramp, that's not a problem. The President will always come down to you. But just let us know that. Anybody with two crutches or with on a wheelchair or something like that, which happens every so often, you know. Now, at the commencement of the conferring ceremony, the academic procession will process up the center aisle to the platform here. As the procession enters, I will ask you to stand, and please remain standing until all members of the academic procession are seated on the platforms here, and I will signal to you when to sit down. Again, when the conferring ceremony is over, I will ask you to stand when the academic procession is leaving. And today's ceremony will be chaired by Mr. Michael Loftus, head of the Faculty of Engineering and Science. Now, the following is especially true for the conferees. Shortly after the commencement of the conferring ceremony, the President will deliver a short introduction empowering him to make awards. When he has finished that introduction, I will require each row of the conferees, as directed by the stewards, to proceed to the platform. Now, you usually go down to a gap in the middle there, down here, and up this side here that I'm pointing to. You come in this side here. Now, where was I? Please stay in the order in which you are seated, as parchments are in that order. When you approach the platform, please remain at the bottom of the steps until your head of department announces your name. Then process up to the steps, up to the President here to receive your parchment. In the unlikely event that you're given the wrong parchment, please do not panic. Your course coordinator will sort that out later when the conferring ceremony is concluded. You will return down to your seat to the aisle, as I show you there, down the platform on that side there. When you return to your seat, please move in along the row as far as you can, as this will make return to your seat less noisy and also much quicker. Now, please watch your gown because they do flay out, and please do not get caught in anything coming up from down below there in the ramps or going down the ramps. Now, photography. As you can see, the photographer from Barry's Photographics is here on my left, and they will be taking the picture of you receiving your parchment from the President. When the President is handing your parchment, look towards the photographer and smile if you like. Hope you do. while your photograph is taken. Then walk to the left and down the platform on my left there. We're going to have a small little rehearsal. So 2 ladies are going to join the queue there, and they're Margaret and Kira. So if they just join the queue there, and this is how it's done. Just to get now, what we do is we don't clap each individual. We don't clap each individual. We clap the classes. Otherwise, if you're at an event where you clap each individual, the first 10 or 20 get great claps, and then the last 10, they get a very meek clap. So we class the claps, and we keep the energy in our hands for clapping the classes. So no, this is these names. Kira McLaughlin, we'll say. Margaret O'Brien. Now, would you please give an ovation, please, for the class that just qualified? So I think you get the idea now there that. Now, where was I? Now, when the ceremony ends, the academic procession will then leave the auditorium. At this point, I will ask you to stand and to remain standing until the members of the academic procession have left the auditorium. And please then remain in your seats. At this stage, the graduates will be taken by their respective course coordinator to the sports hall or sports hall for their group photographs. Now, please strictly observe the instructions of the stewards and do not leave your group. The photographic session will not take long. It would be a shame to miss your group photograph, particularly. I still have mine, and I can go through the names of people, and we have reunions and things like that now. And as you get kind of older and things like that, it becomes more important. Who was that fella and all that, like, you know, and you'd kind of do that, or that girl, whatever the case might be. So make sure you're in your group photograph, you know. Individual photographs will be taken over in the James Barry Exhibition Centre. Don't feel you have to go. Some people should go there straight away. Other people can go there after the reception, just to kind of spread out the load going in there. Okay? And that is in the James Barry, which is in the D wing of the original building. And there's an entrance, that's the art gallery. There's an entrance from the walkway just out there. Our guests are most welcome to join us for the reception in the West Atrium while the group photographs are being taken. Therefore, the graduates can meet up with your guests in the reception area in the West Atrium, because that's where they will have gone while you're getting your individual photograph. Now, if you want an individual photograph with your mum and dad or whatever, your partner or whatever, just go in then straight into the James Barry. When you're going into the reception in the West Atrium, you can go in either from the main corridor or from the door at the west end, or whichever you like. And given the kind of weather, I suspect the west door could be a bit more popular today. There is a service of Thanksgiving for graduates, parents, and family members in the college chapel in the D corridor of the original building, in the D corridor, quite close to the James Barry. Times are at 11:30 a.m. and at 2:30 a.m. And so you can pick which one is appropriate, which is obviously the 11:30, and you are very welcome to go and attend that if you wish. Once the reception photography set is over, please exit the campus by the south side onto Rossa Avenue, as the guests for the next conferring will be arriving in the main entrance from the Melbourne Road. I would now ask everybody to ensure that their mobile phone is switched off, and I will just check to see are we all okay. So please stand while the academic procession enters the auditorium. I call on Mr. Michael Loftus, Head of the Faculty of Engineering and Science, to commence this conferring ceremony.
Thank you, Noel. Graduates of CIT, members of the governing body, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this meeting at which awards of Cork Institute of Technology will be conferred on students of this institute. Our guests on the front platform are, on my immediate right, Dr. Barry O'Connor, President of CIT. On my far right, Dr. Anya Nihay, Registrar and Vice President for Academic Affairs, CIT. Our guests on the rear platform are members of the governing body and members of the academic staff of CIT. I call upon Dr. Barry O'Connor, the President of the Institute, to confer awards on the learners presented by the Institute for that purpose.
On tradition, so we do this in English and Irish. So, Harchion Institute, agus the Harve and Udarash, a harmonic tority, the rare alt quagatri, Dachtum Haliakti, agus Darbu Kaliakta, Edachus, agus Elunt, Gavi, the Sedoyag, Brunham, Davachini, are all more in Institute, Tatleshin Kaidan, and a Kinnig again Tudarashin of Wintermach. Agus Iram, go Griffon, a Foramorishin, Imalaher, Conabar, a Herbert, Doiv, go for a mule. On behalf of the Institute, and by virtue of the authority delegated to it under Section 53 of the Qualifications and Quality Assurance Education and Training Act 2012, I hereby confer awards on the learners of the Institute who have achieved the standards determined by the authority for those awards. And I ask that those learners be presented to me so that I may formally present them with their parchment.
It's my privilege to commence the conferring in the School of Science and Informatics. The school consists of the Department of Biological Sciences, the Department of Computer Science, the Department of Mathematics, and the Department of Physical Sciences. I call upon Dr. Donagh O'Mahony, Head of Department of Physical Sciences, to present the candidates from his department. Awards will be made in respect of the following programs in this department: Bachelor of Science Honours in Analytical Chemistry with Quality Assurance, Bachelor of Science Honours in Applied Physics and Instrumentation, Bachelor of Science Honours in Environmental Science and Sustainable Technology, Bachelor of Science Honours in Instrument Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Analytical and Pharmaceutical Chemistry, Bachelor of Science in Applied Physics and Instrumentation, Higher Certificate in Science in Industrial Measurement and Control.
Uachtaráin, President. I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programs in the Department of Physical Sciences and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Science Honours in Analytical Chemistry with Quality Assurance. And I would request that you present their parchment to them. Ramisha Chowdhury. Margaret Elizabeth Cronin. Paulina Alexandra Escobar. Kira Bridget Hayes. Colm Jerome Hennessy. John Patrick O'Sullivan. Next we have the Bachelor of Science in Applied Physics and Instrumentation Honours. John Gerard Brennan. Brian Joseph Looney. Camille Stoyek. And in absentia, Adam Finbar Tobin. And just one more from the Bachelor of Science in Analytical Chemistry with Quality Assurance, in absentia, Alexander Alex Romanev. Next, we have the Bachelor of Science. Ovation, please. Gurmil Mahagav. Next, we have the Bachelor of Science Honours in Environmental Science and Sustainable Technology. Christopher John Daly. In absentia, Andrew Michael Heafy. Derek James Keeney. Patrick Joseph Murphy. Colin Brian O'Flynn. Jamie O'Sullivan. And David Donica Sweeney. And can I ask for a bula bus for the class of Environmental Science? Next up, we have the Bachelor of Science Honours in Instrument Engineering. Jonathan Burns. Daniel John Duan. Niamh Christine Murray. George David Ross. And Shane Michael Ward. And can I ask for a round of applause, please, for the class of Instrument Engineering? The next class we have is the Bachelor of Science in Analytical and Pharmaceutical Chemistry. Now we've a number in absentia here. Solav Hamid Abdul Karim, Novi Atkawi, Charlotte Bolto, Lauren Daly, Iman Awad Diab, Colleen Gagne, Mary Gamblin, and we have Christopher James Kirby. And in absentia, Manon Seven, Laurence Leroy, and in absentia, Monique Victoria Mahaffey. Next, we have James Mullins. And in absentia, we have Colm Michael O'Leary, Kathleen Marie O'Riordan, and Pierre-Yves Louis Tourin. Can I have a round of applause, please, for the Analytical and Pharmaceutical Chemistry? Next, we have the Bachelor of Science in Applied Physics and Instrumentation. First up, Colm Caffrey. Gregory Patrick Casey. Patrick John Corbett. Barry Corcoran. Frances Ann Donegan. Rory Oliver Galvin. Alexander William Glenn. In absentia, Liam Bernard Hart. And in absentia, Eamon Canis Patrick Kent. Graham Mark Kiley. Edward Thomas Morrissey. Kieran Paul John Murphy. Connor Nolan. Michael Martin O'Driscoll. Amy Kathleen O'Keefe. Stephen Quinn. And Amy Ellen Roach. Now I'm going to ask this class to get a bit of exercise. Can I ask you to stand, take a bow, and can we have a bula bus, please, for applied physics and instrumentation? The rest of you got off lightly. Okay, next we have Higher Certificate in Science in Industrial Measurement and Control. Liam Fahy. In abstentia, we have Owen James Fitzsimons, Kenneth Horrigan, and Paul Kelleher. Next, we have Robert John Maloney. Cian O'Riordan. Kevin Anthony James O'Sullivan. And Roy Anthony Walsh. And can I finally ask all of the students of the Department of Physical Sciences to Take a bow. Well done, Mahu.
I call upon Dr. Brendan O'Connell, Head of Department of Biological Sciences, to present the candidates from his department. Awards will be made in respect of the following programs in this department: Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Science in Computational Biology, Bachelor of Science Honours in Herbal Science, Bachelor of Science Honours in Nutrition and Health Science, Bachelor of Science Honours in Pharmaceutical Biotechnology, Bachelor of Science in Applied Biosciences and Biotechnology, Bachelor of Science in Food and Health Science.
I call on the President of the Institute, Dr. Barry O'Connor, to initiate the procedure for the award of Doctor of Philosophy in the Department of Biological Sciences.
Thank you, Brendan. Now, we begin here this part of the ceremony with PhDs, and each PhD gets his and her own boule de basse and presentation, because it's the highest award that the Institute can offer, and any institute can offer a university a PhD. So we begin. Har ceann Institute agus a harfa an údarás a harmonic tuirí de réir ad chuige trí dacht chailíochtaí agus darbh chailíochta I dachas agus a leúnt gáibhid sa dóiag brunam an chéim doctúr le fiosúnacht an Cather Shalanis, Michelle Judge, Cleena Sargent, Aideen Kennedy and Marcel de Cruyff. On behalf of the Institute and by virtue of the authority delegated to it under Section 53 of the Qualifications and Quality Assurance Education and Training Act of 2012, I hereby confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Michelle Judge, Cleena Sargent, Aideen Kennedy, Marcel de Cruyff.
I have the honour to present Michelle Judge for admission to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Professor Roy Slater had the privilege of being Michelle's supervisor. The title of Michelle's PhD thesis is Low-Cost Multi-Purpose Genotyping Panels for Dairy and Beef Cattle. I have the honour to present Cleena Sargent for admission to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Professor Jim O'Mahony had the privilege of being Cleena's supervisor. The title of Cleena's PhD thesis is An Analysis of the Physiological and Psychological Well-Being of Irish Naval Service Personnel. I have the honour to present Aideen Kennedy for admission to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Professor Jim O'Mahony and Dr. Rihanna Sayers have the privilege of being Aideen's supervisors. The title of Aideen's PhD thesis is A Diagnostic and Control Programme for Jones Disease on Irish Dairy Farms. I have the honour to present Marcel de Cruyff for admission to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Professor Jim O'Mahony had the privilege of being Marcel's supervisor. Marcel is in absentia. The title of Marcel's PhD thesis is The Development of New Molecular Tools to Detect Mycobacterium avium subspecies paratuberculosis from a bovine fecal environment by real-time PSR. We'll give a round of applause in his absence. This concludes this part of the meeting for the purpose of conferring the award of Doctor of Philosophy in the Department of Biological Sciences. We now proceed to the conferring of the next award. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programs in the Department of Biological Sciences and who are worthy of the award of Master of Science in Computational Biology and I would request you to present their parchment to them. Holly Joanne Clark. Robert Anthony Dempsey. Rose Mary Fitzgerald in absentia. Aisling Marie Heaney. K.E. in absentia. Would the graduates of the Award of Master of Science in Computational Biology please stand to receive their ovation? President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programs in the Department of Biological Sciences and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Science Honours in Herbal Science, and I would request you to present their parchment to them. Evelyn Mary Cronin. Fiona Maria Mairead Hannon. Noreen Annette Hanrahan. Paul Anthony Schelling. Claire Louise Swift. Orla Louise White. Would the graduates of the Award of Bachelor of Science Honours in Herbal Science please stand to receive their ovation? President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programs in the Department of Biological Sciences and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Science Honours in Nutrition and Health Science, and I would request you to present their parchments to them. Sarah Barry. Lewis Alexander Douglas Bell Maguire. Edwina Spilkus. Conor Thomas William Blackton. Fiona Burke. Christopher Anthony Brown. Ciara Bridget Buckley. Faye Louise Clark. Niall David Clark. Paul Joseph Dalton. Ellen Mary Daly. Kate Mora Daly. Connor Deasy. Emer Christina Fitzgerald. Matthew Cullum Fox. Edel Hannafin. Jack Higgins in absentia. Sinead Marianne Hurley. Sheena Elda Jordan. Padraig James Joyce. Yvonne Arlene Kelleher in absentia. Neve Josephine Lanigan. Con Anthony Lucy. Jacqueline Lynch. Charlotte Georgina Magnon in absentia. Aisling Bernadette McCarthy. Lorna Ann McDermott. Connor John McEvern. Joanne Robin Morn. Katie Mary Morn. Doreen Ann Moynihan. Gavin Noel Mullins. Catherine Charlotte Mornan. Leanne Sarah Murphy. Peter Mensah. Aoife Philomena New. Diarmid O'Connor. Dave O'Connor. Emma Hannah O'Kelly. Cian Nicholas James O'Mahony. Gareth O'Regan. Mark O'Regan in absentia. Aisling Martina O'Sullivan. Sheila Gobnett O'Sullivan. Anna Patak. Adam John Queen. Julie Patricia Scanlon. Michael Anthony Sheehy. Katie Smith. Cathal Michael Noel Stone. Lisa Toohey. Daniel James William Wallace. Lucy Walsh. Sarah Jane Walsh. Would the graduates of the award of Bachelor of Science Honours in Nutrition and Health Science please stand to receive their ovation. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programmes in the Department of Biological Sciences and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Science Honours in Pharmaceutical Biotechnology, and I would request you to present their parchments to them. Michael Emeglio. Joshua Allen Barnes. Daniel Stephen Brond. John Patrick Coakley. Stephen Tomas Coakley. Patrick Coomey. James Niall Costello. Gillian Catherine Crowley. Kevin Michael Dowling. Laura Marie Fitzgerald. Adomas Gadisaskas. Dara Joseph Harrington. Janet Harry Thomas. Ronan William Higgins. Aideen May Jeffreys. Albin Joy in absentia. Maeve Ellen Kelly. Joanne Helen Kiley. Rosanna Rachel Lonigan. Stephen Don Looney in absentia. Rebecca Ellen Lynch. Nikita Emma Matassa. Aidan Raymond Maloney. Daniel Eileen Murphy. Luke Thomas Murphy. Orla Joan Murphy. Vivian Elizabeth Murphy in absentia. Anthony William O'Callaghan. Charlotte Thrace O'Connell. Patrick O'Connell in absentia. Jennifer Ann O'Connor. Tara Lee O'Connor. Thomas Morgan O'Dwyer in absentia. Kira Maria O'Mani, Laura Maria O'Mani, Anne-Marie Annette O'Sullivan, Lisa Marie O'Sullivan in absentia, Patrick Thomas O'Sullivan, Diane Elizabeth Rafferty, Vanessa Sheehan, Rebecca Slavin, Emer Elizabeth Stapleton in absentia, Philippa Carmel Sweeney, Cadla Margaret Tanner, Margaret Frances Tuig, Laura Catherine Walsh, Rebecca Leah Walsh, Denise Ann Williams, Would the graduates of the award of Bachelor of Science Honours in Pharmaceutical Biotechnology please stand to receive their ovation. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programmes in the Department of Biological Sciences and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Science in Applied Biosciences and Biotechnology, and I would request you to present their parchments to them. Akpene Agma, in absentia. Stephanie Magella Archer. Enyes Bajo, in absentia. Dara Bennett. Chloe Martina Bly. Alistair Martin Breen. Sarah Bridgman. Huey Timothy Broderick. Daniel Buckley. Dion Ellen Buckley. Sarah Phyllis Burgoyne, Audrey Catherine Burke, Adrian Anthony Condon, Owen Kevin Considine in absentia, Laura Julia Dennehy, Sasha Dunn in absentia, Malgorzata Magdalena Gacco, Maeve Ann Hegarty, Joanna Higgins O'Rourke, Magdalena Ewa Jansek, Lucas Callum Jones, Helena Kelly in absentia, Cleena Mary Lane, Shannon Lillian Leahy in absentia, Emma Elizabeth Moynan in absentia, Marcel Christian Muller in absentia, Owen Aidan Murphy, Jerry Thomas Murphy, Kelly Bridget Anya O'Brien in absentia, Michelle O'Connor in absentia, Jennifer Louise O'Mani Rowe, Donica Hugh O'Neill, Aidan James O'Shaughnessy, Sharon Mary O'Shea, Paula Ozagi in absentia, Luke Raymond Power in absentia, Sarita Ruganarurka, Anthony Neville St. Ledger, Robert Michael Sweeney, Victoria Tosamana in absentia, Julie Maria Gretty Walls, Raymond Thomas Walsh, Shane Kevin Whelan, in absentia. Would the graduates of the award of Bachelor of Science in Applied Biosciences and Biotechnology please stand to receive their ovation. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed programs in the Department of Biological Sciences and who are worthy of the award of Bachelor of Science in Food and Health Science, and I would request you to present their parchments to them. Melia Barbaro, in absentia. Jack Bennett. Jack Barrett. Lauren Bode, in absentia. Niamh Maggie Casey, in absentia. Rebecca Eileen Casey, in absentia. Fenwick Charlotte, in absentia. Adam James Dunn. Camille Dury, in absentia. Amy Kate Falla. Maeve Falvey, in absentia. Niall Martin Peter Hennigan. Alexandra Holokova. Sean Michael Hurley. Frances Patricia Johnston. Clement Macklow, in absentia. Emma Mary Morrissey. Claire Ann O'Connell. James O'Connor. Laura Elizabeth O'Gorman. Xavier Randerosa, in absentia. Taylor Sexton. Janet Lindsay Sharp. Leah Tesero, in absentia. Melissa Kate Walsh. Would the graduates of the award of Bachelor of Science in Food and Health Science please stand to receive their ovation.
This concludes this part of the meeting. for the purpose of conferring awards on the students of our institute. I now call on the President of the Institute, Dr. Barry O'Connor, to address you.
Right, thank you, Michael. I have a lot of paper here, but it won't be that long. Reminds me of the story of the priest who was preparing for the sermon of a morning, and he cut himself shaving, so he came out onto the pulpit and he says, my dear friend, he says, he was renowned for long sermons. He said, how did he go? He says, I was concentrating on my sermon this morning and I cut myself while shaving. And some guy says, you should have concentrated on the shaving and cut the sermon. Anyway, so officially, a wheel in which the Riota, a card on CIT, came here, or Glown, Agus or Garda, to Kate Mila Falter over or Madden, members of the governing body, colleagues from CIT, the Faculty of Engineering and Science, most of all, graduates, as you know are. You were graduates up to a few minutes ago, some of you, and your family and friends. We're delighted that so many of you can make it here this morning, in spite of Ophelia and in spite of our normal October weather. But unfortunately, we have to have conference in October. That's the way the academic calendar works. This is a great day for everyone here, particularly for you, our graduates here in the front. And I suppose the first thing is to say that on behalf of the Institute, we thank you most sincerely for choosing to take this step in your academic career here in CIT. We are a very proud institution, and we're very proud of you as our graduates and as students while you were here. As we say, as Gaelge is ládar séil an lá seo, lá móre, díobhar fad, agus tá sódagam gine sibh calóra goma isteach san ihe nocht, agus an dara seachtainna. So maybe just to say a small few words, just maybe to put it in context. The gang in front here know all about CIT, but some of you at the back only knew that CIT is a place where your checks went to on a regular basis for paying for digs and so on. What we pride ourselves here in CIT is on our unique student experience, and the way we work it here, every individual student is very important. As you saw this morning, every individual student gets their own parchment, and we do that in the spirit then of fairness and consistency, trying to be fair and consistent to all students and give them all a good experience here in CIT. And to do that, we adopted a process which we picked up from Scotland a few years ago called SPARKS, which is about student participation in academic quality. And SPARKS changed the P from participation to partnership, because it is about partnership. It is about our graduates here, our students, taking responsibility for their own lives, for their own social lives, for their own professional lives, and in the end then for their own learning. And you know, the way we work it, there's been a lot of talk over the years about teaching excellence and learner satisfaction, but that has moved on to learning excellence and teacher satisfaction. And I know parents at the back and yourselves are all very proud. Probably the proudest people here today are my colleagues here, myself and my colleagues here on the platform, in terms of graduating such a great bunch of graduates as we have here. You're part of a unique community of CIT graduates worldwide. I guess, you know, from day one, we hope we looked after you well, and our success rates here in CIT, called retention in other places, we call it success, is probably the best in the country. And even when the HEA, who are the governing authority of universities and institutes, when they were looking at student engagement nationally, going back about 3 years ago now, the head of the HEA said, when you step onto the CIT campus, you know that we're doing something right in terms of getting our students involved. And I go back to it, it's about students becoming part of their own learning and their own growing up and their own education. So we work together as partners with our students. Maybe just a few words. I'm not too sure if there are any politicians in the audience, but we might meet them. You can pass on this to them. There is a funding scheme, a funding of third level education, and there are various, there's a recognition there that training scientists or training engineers, as we'll have in our next session, cost a lot more money than training people who wouldn't need laboratories or field work or studios. But unfortunately, in the last 4, 5, 6 years now, there's been a huge shortfall in the amount of funding coming in for engineering, for science, for technology, for our culinary arts, for music and so on. And it's something that we really do need to address in terms of getting our... We here in CIT, it is the biggest single engineering school in the island of Ireland. Very biggest science and engineering school on the island of Ireland, if you combine the two together. And we are following, I suppose, government policy in graduating top-class food scientists, top-class people in pharmaceutical, top-class people in physical and biological sciences. And just looking at the parchments there, the amount of 2 1s and 1 H's, first-class honours, it's amazing. And our PhD students as well this morning. So my point is, we're following the government agenda, the state's agenda, whatever government it is, to develop a strong engineering, science-based economy. But unfortunately, we're not getting the funding to do it. And it's great credit to my colleagues here and colleagues who are in class this morning that we have continued and to our students, that we've continued to graduate fantastic, high quality, highly employable graduates here, in spite of that funding shortfall. I won't keep you too long this morning. It's fantastic that you were able to make your way in through the very inclement weather. I just again mention a few words. We have, in terms of our own faculty here this morning, particularly our colleagues in the School of Science and Informatics, just to say that, you know, while we're very proud of yourselves, I need to single out one man here on the stage. As I mentioned earlier, in terms of the PhDs, is the highest award that you can get in CIT, but the highest award you can get academically in the country is called a Doctor of Science. And I'd like to pay tribute to Professor Roy Slater here this morning, who actually graduated with a Doctor of Science. So he's now officially Professor Dr. Roy Slater. So well done, Roy. Now, I didn't tell Roy I was going to single him out, but he might come after me later on, but sure, look. And not alone that, but 2 years ago, Roy won a National Teaching Award as well. So he's not just a brilliant researcher, but he's a brilliant teacher, a brilliant publisher, and a brilliant supporter of CIT in everything he does. And well supported by his colleagues in the department and the faculty as well, and the school. So maybe just another few words in terms of where you are as graduates. Okay, you're graduating from your own particular department, your own particular course in the department. But CIT is, as your parents will particularly have seen this morning coming in, we have no gates, we have no walls, we have no fences around CIT. CIT is part of the community here in Bishopstown, in Ringaskiddy, Union Quay, the Crawford Art Gallery, Copter Street for the architects. And it's highly embedded in what we do. And we develop partnerships. We developed very strong partnerships, for example, with what was the VEC, then became the ETV, called the CCPS, sounds like the former Soviet Union, but it's the Colleges Progression Scheme, where we work very closely with the further education colleges. 3 of the biggest further education colleges in the country are here in Cork. So we work very closely through our Access Office, which is just over here, work very closely with the further education colleges to develop that continuum of education. Like CIT is unique. We have everything from apprentices right the way through to PhDs and all stations in between. You wouldn't get an experience like that anywhere else in the country. Maybe DIT is close, but we're ahead of DIT in many areas. For example, we actually have the largest intake of level 7 degree entrance in the entire country, even bigger than DIT. Now, 85% of those, 90% of those go on, as I'm sure most of the guys here this morning will go on to get level 8 qualification next year. So, like, it is a unique place to be involved in terms of the whole further education to higher education continuum. We also have very strong partnerships with our friends aside in UCC in terms, and we'll see it at the next conferring session, no, actually it's Friday evening. UCC and CIT are the only 2 institutions in the country that have joint awards. That you get a CIT crest and UCC crest. And we started that way back with biomedical science through our colleague Brendan O'Connell, who was on here just before me. And we developed a master's and a bachelor's degree there. We developed a bachelor's and a master's of architecture with UCC. And we developed, that was the next one, through the Crawford College of Art and Design, a professional master's in art education. And just a few weeks ago, through Dr. O'Mahony's department, we've developed a new degree in industrial physics, which is, again, a joint award between ourselves and UCC. There's a lot of talk about cooperating between various institutions around the place, but we're actually doing it with UCC. Nobody else in the country, no other two institutions and university are actually doing joint awards. So we do it because it's good for our students, it's good for the community. And again, it costs in terms of manpower, it costs in terms of the students coming in and out from UCC, or lecturers going in down to Copley Street or whatever, but we do it because it's the right thing to do. I mean, every program that we put on here in CIT and the ones we have at UCC are road tested to make sure there's employable graduates coming out. And because of that, guaranteed most of you guys here will have jobs within a few months. You know, it's that's if you want to go to work or come back into further study. It's a hallmark of what we do. All our graduates are employable, and like I say, all our students are treated individually here in CIT. What other collaborations have we got? As you would know, we're working with the Institute of Technology in Tralee towards this Munster Technological University. And again, we depend on the legislation to come through the dial to move on to the next phase of that. That's down the line as well, but again, we're looking at designation as a technological university. But the quality of the work that's going on here, as you can see through our staff, through our students, through our research effort, is world class in many areas. And that is the key thing. We're doing a good job for our students, a good job for the community, good job for industry, and specifically a great job, I think, for our graduates. Hopefully we'll get that recognised with university status, but we're doing the work anyway. And as I said, the stats all add up to show we are doing the work, and we already are acting as a university, delivering as a university, or as an institute of technology. We're doing the right thing by our students, which is what is important. I suppose we have other partnerships with the Irish Navy, blowing a skiddy, where both the Merchant Marine and officers of the Irish Naval Service do degrees in marine engineering or nautical science. Again, unique in the world, where you'd have civil and defence personnel being educated on the one campus. What else have we got? We've got partnerships going with COPE services in terms of an advocacy program. It's in its third year now and extremely important. We have a program going with music generation, again, to develop music across the city. And bring all those together, we hosted here jointly with the City Council, with UCC and the ETB, the former VEC, we hosted a conference here in City Hall, but also in our School of Music, a Unesco conference on learning cities. And Cork was the third ever city to host such a conference. And it was based on the theme of lifelong learning. We had over 500 delegates, 95 countries represented, 40 mayors from different cities around the world. And why? Because they came to Cork because they recognised through the Lifelong Learning Festival, through the partnerships that we have between us, all on a voluntary basis, that Cork is a learning city. And they're trying to learn the lessons from Cork to see how they could replicate it worldwide. And sticking with that theme in terms of lifelong learning, you know, you guys and ladies have only started this morning on this hour. Some of you are continuing on, but the majority of you, you've picked up your first parchment this morning, but learning is a lifelong experience to be pursued. And, you know, from the point of view of CIT, we have quite a number of courses now going online, particularly on the master side. So it's something you should keep in mind, keep in touch with what's going on here in CIT. Maybe just to brighten it up instead of preaching, the CIT is extremely proud as well of our sports endeavours. Just to say, in terms of, say, the last 2 months to finals, the hurling and the football, right? 3 out of the 4 captains were CIT graduates. Polly Kerrigan from Nemo, we had Steve MacDonald from Glen Rovers, and Pat O'Connor, the Clare captain, was also from Tubman County Clare. 3 of them, 3 out of 4, were CIT graduates. And that doesn't say, that says a lot for what we do in terms of looking after our students again through support. Who else can be? Well, Cleena Sargent, who got her PhD here this morning, is an Irish international hockey player. She's been busy with other pursuits in the last 2 weeks as well. But we move on from that. What else we got in terms of stars? You all know Gary O'Donovan, who graduated here last year with a business degree from Skibbereen. But the other two Skibbereen guys who won the World Championship last week, or maybe last month, over in the States, Shane O'Driscoll and Alan O'Donovan, they're both CIT engineers who graduated from here a few years back. So we have a lot of famous guys out there. Is it tomorrow, the day after, Juliet Murphy, the Cork ladies footballer, she's a former captain of the Cork ladies football team, will be graduating with a master's. So you guys are graduating from a stable of very famous, very well connected engineers, scientists, business people. And what I'll be asking you is to stay in touch. I think Michael will mention LinkedIn later on. I remember being at a graduation ceremony a few years back, and the speaker said, to each graduate, when you start out in your professional career, identify a mentor who will encourage you or give you a bit of advice as you get started. This has moved on now through LinkedIn and so on. Each one of you guys here can be mentoring yourselves or connecting to the CIT LinkedIn network and find out what's happening globally, because we have CIT graduates in every corner of the globe at this stage. So more of that and on. Maybe in terms of that, I've been asked to remind you that in February of next year, you will be emailed. Hopefully, you're still reading your CIT emails by our alumni office here, which is the office which looks after graduates, to fill in what's called a first destination survey, to see how you're going on in the first 5-6 months of your career. So we'd ask you, make sure you fill in the data on that, so that we know, how well you're doing in your employment, in your career, or in your further studies. Because we get that feedback, we can put it back into course planning, we can put it back into advice or next year's cohort of students. And I suppose the other thing to say, when you do move up the line in terms of making your first million, remember CIT, and remember we can put in another awning outside here maybe, or get a building named after yourself for $1 million. So we look forward to seeing the checks coming in. Actually, as I mentioned, sports stars, another CIT graduate captained Cork City the other night, Alan Bennett. Alan is a business graduate here from, or is he business or rec leisure? He's certainly Alan Bennett, who got man of the match for Cork City when they won the league. Okay, well, they scored a straw the other night, but they're still league champions. So that's another famous CIT graduate. So as I say, when you're CIT graduates, you're coming from a centre of excellence right across what we call the student experience. When you started out in CIT in first year, you did the CIT module, which was known as, for the benefit of the people at the back, creativity, innovation and teamwork, which was all about trying to get you kick-started in your careers. We had the International Space University here during the summer. A lady sat next to me, she's now in Harvard as a professor. Previously she was in the White House with Obama. Prior to that she was in MIT, which, as I told them, is the American version of CIT. And I mentioned to her about the CIT module. She wrote it down. So she's bringing the CIT module back to Harvard. So we are doing a lot of things right around here. So be proud of where you're from in terms of CIT and stay connected with us. Again, as I said, they mentioned it in the Conferring booklet there. The motto on CIT is Risha Milla. It's a prayer of St. Coleman of Cork from way back from St. Finbar's time. And it says, may we all achieve together. And, stay together, work together. Again, there was a famous phrase given out by one of these guys at the Unesco conference. He quoted an African saying, which was, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So you have a good network there between yourselves, between your previous CIT graduates. Stay connected with that network, stay connected with us, and you'll go far. So, Garmil Mahagav, Winigi Tanev, Asan Law, August Sanwaya.
Thank you, President. Thank you for conferring almost 300 graduates here this morning. I hope you're in good physical shape, because by the time you're finished shaking the hands of the other 2,000 that we've to come over coming days, you'll either have no hand at all or you'll be like Popeye, one or the other. Graduates of CIT, members of the governing body, institute staff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends from around the world, the Faculty of Engineering and Science is delighted to see you all here today participating in this significant event in the lives of our graduates, their families, and the institute itself. On behalf of the faculty, I wish to congratulate everyone who is graduating here today, and I wish you well in the future in your chosen careers. I know some of you will go on to do further work in the academic world. I know many of you will enter industry. Either way, I know you're excellently prepared to succeed because of the quality of programs, the quality of your own work, and the quality of the energy and endeavour of my colleagues in the faculty. My colleagues are very conscious of the need to provide opportunities on an ongoing basis to meet the needs of our students, graduates, researchers, startup companies, and industry collaborators. During the past year, we've achieved much in this context. We've seen our students and graduates continue to win national and international awards at an incredible rate, and they've achieved in all areas of the faculty. Our industry engagement work continues apace, and we work with the various agencies to attract new organisations to the region, support startups, and develop indigenous firms. This work is often unseen. Hardly a week goes by when we don't work with the IDA or somebody else to meet with organisations that are considering investing in the region. They want to understand what numbers of graduates we're providing, what courses we provide, what the areas of study are, what the quality of the graduates is, and what our research areas are. And in many cases, those details and understanding those details and our ability to communicate with these organizations and engage with them is the difference between whether they locate in this region or not. Those decisions in terms of where they locate, of whether or not they locate in this region, those decisions are closely associated with the creation of jobs, opportunities in the region, and providing our graduates with choices in relation to where and how they would like to lead their lives. In relation to graduate employment, surveys are showing that in excess of 90% of our graduates are finding employment or continuing with their studies within a short period of their graduation. In fact, many of our graduates are now finding employment before graduation. So there's a very, very healthy picture there in relation to graduate employability. Many of our past graduates now hold senior positions in organisations all over the region and beyond. They have a great loyalty to CIT, take our students on placement, engage with us in programme design, engage with us in terms of creating new initiatives for new graduates, and we very much hope that we'll have that relationship with yourselves going forward. Our student engagement work in the form of our roadshows, school visits, science festivals, engineering exhibitions, and hands-on programs for transition year students continue to have great impact. We've been running these programs now for many years, and every day we're meeting students on our corridors who we've engaged with as we've travelled the length and breadth of the county in terms of engagement. They're having great success. In addition, we have set out to increase the number of girls studying engineering, science, and technology, and we've seen very significant gains in that regard. It's a very important point. The number of girls who study engineering, science, and technology is less than what it should be. Many girls are under-realising their potential in that regard, and we'd love for the message to go out from here today that more girls should take careers in this area. There has never been a better time. The opportunities are incredible, opportunities locally, nationally, and internationally. Our student retention rates are on an upward trend over recent years, and we're doing all possible to maximise results in that context. Our faculty staff have continued to lead the way in CIT by winning multi-million euro research funding in key areas such as information technology, life sciences, photonics, energy, and sustainable infrastructure. Without their tireless efforts, CIT as a whole would not be in a position to make the advances in research that it has done, or to approach the future with the level of ambition that it does. The designation of a significant number of faculty staff as professors provided major recognition for the faculty in this context. After experiencing years of funding challenges, as the President has referred to in his speech with national events, we've lobbied hard and are very hopeful of seeing increased funding levels allocated to science, technology, engineering and maths areas in the near future. In addition, we were successful in securing funding in the past week or so for a new capital development which will see a new building being developed here on CIT from a programme in which science, technology, engineering and maths has been prioritised nationally, and we very much look forward to that event. The achievements which I've cited today could not have been delivered without the outstanding leadership shown by my colleagues in the Faculty of Engineering and Science. They've consistently developed and delivered programmes and initiatives of an excellent standard, and I'm indebted to them for their efforts. In addition to congratulating our graduates, I wish to congratulate your parents, partners, supporters and families on this special day. Many of you might never have reached this special milestone without their support and care. I think it's appropriate now for us to offer a round of applause for them all. The President has made mention of the importance of staying in touch with us. We have a faculty LinkedIn group, we've got a Facebook page, we have a Twitter account. We're connected with graduates, CIT graduates all over the world. If you're going someplace, you're looking for connections, the connections are available. People have a great loyalty to CIT, a great loyalty to the faculty. If you need any support in terms of where you're travelling, give us a shout through one of our systems and we'll be delighted to put you in contact. We have a number of open days coming up over coming weeks. The National Maritime College of Ireland, a constituent college of CIT and a constituent college connected to the Faculty of Engineering and Science, has an open day on the 26th of October. The CIT open day is the 17th of November. The CIT College of Art and Design is the 17th and 18th of November, and the CIT Cork School of Music is the 18th of November. Be delighted if you'd pass on those details to anybody who might be interested. In addition, we'll be travelling we have been travelling and will continue to travel the length and breadth of the county as we engage with students with roadshows, science festivals, programs specifically for female transition year students, our engineering exhibition and so on and so forth. And again, details of all of those will be on our websites and available through our various social media channels. To conclude, I'd like to voice my deep appreciation for the efforts of the Conferring Committee and all involved in the organisation of today's event. We hope to meet and chat with you all at the reception which will take place shortly. Thanks for your attention. This concludes the meeting for the purpose of conferring awards on the students of our institute. My best wishes and thanks to you all. On behalf of the President, I invite the newly conferred PhD graduates and their supervisors to join him in leading the academic procession. Therefore, I'd ask you all to please rise while the academic procession leaves the conferring hall.